Have you noticed how a single silent phone can suddenly become the loudest sound in the room? It's 2 a.m., and the soft glow of a smartphone screen is the only light in the darkness. He lies in bed, staring at two words that feel heavier than stone. Read 8 hours ago. Just 2 days earlier, everything was completely different. They were sitting together in a crowded coffee shop, laughing so hard they lost track of time, sharing stories they hadn't told anyone in years. There was a moment where she leaned in, looked straight into his eyes, and made him feel like he was the only person in the world. He went home that night, believing he had finally found a genuine connection. Then came the silence. He sent a warm text the next morning, but hours turned into a full day, and all he got back was a distant, cold sentence. Yeah, just busy. He tries to tell himself she's overwhelmed with work. He puts the phone face down, but then he checks her profile and sees her active 2 minutes ago. She isn't busy, she's just ignoring him. A sudden, tight feeling grips his chest, a quiet panic that makes his heart race. Here's something strange. The moment she stopped caring, his mind became completely obsessed with her. But he didn't realize it yet. His brain was walking right into a trap that was set long before they ever met. He stares at the glowing screen, his thumb hovering above the keys. Every logical thought tells him to stop, to preserve his dignity and walk away, but his hands disobey. He types a message, deletes it, writes another, trying desperately to sound relaxed, as if her sudden ice-cold distance doesn't affect him at all. He presses send. 5 minutes feel like 5 years. An hour goes by. Have you ever felt that exact moment, when a direct no would feel like mercy, but the lingering silence drives you almost crazy? We tell ourselves we chase someone because they are irreplaceable, but that isn't what's really happening here. The second she pulled away, something inside him flipped like a switch. Suddenly, her ordinary pictures look extraordinary. Her casual thoughts feel profound. He spends hours rereading old text threads from last week, analyzing every single word, searching for a hidden mistake he might have made. He starts buying small gifts she casually mentioned weeks ago, showing up at places where he thinks she might be, all for a single, fleeting nod. His friends tell him he's losing his self-respect. He knows they're right, yet he physically cannot stop. Then, something unexpected happened. On a rainy Tuesday afternoon, her name suddenly flashes across his screen. A simple message. Hey, miss you. In less than a second, the heavy weight in his chest vanishes, replaced by a rush of absolute relief and euphoria. His hands tremble as he types back. But here is where everything changes. Your brain has a strange habit when it comes to uncertainty. It doesn't crave predictable comfort. It becomes addicted to unpredictability. Think of a slot machine. If it pays out every single time you pull the lever, you quickly get bored and walk away. But if it pays out randomly, sometimes nothing, sometimes a jackpot, your brain gets flooded with dopamine. She wasn't giving him love, she was giving him random rewards. 1 day warm, 3 days frozen cold. Without knowing it, he was hooked on the gamble, confusing the intense anxiety of losing her with the sensation of being in love. But that wasn't even the strange part. He believed that if he could just make her care, if he could just win her over, the quiet voice inside his head whispering, "You are not enough," would finally go quiet. He wasn't chasing her because she was special. He was chasing her to heal an old wound he had been carrying for a very long time. The chase dragged on for 3 painful months, until one evening, he showed up at her doorstep, holding a bouquet of flowers, ready to ask for a real answer. She opened the door, looked at him, and sighed softly. There was no anger in her eyes, no playing hard to get, no games, just a tired, hollow emptiness. She looked at the flowers, then looked up at him and whispered, "You didn't do anything wrong. It's just, every time you try so hard, you remind me of him. The one who ignored me." In that single fraction of a second, The flowers in his hands felt heavier than lead. A quiet truth hit him. All those months, he was running after a ghost. She was never ignoring him because of who he was. She was retreating into her own shell, terrified of getting hurt by someone else from her past who had ignored her. And he wasn't chasing her because he loved her. He was running after the illusion that someone else's approval could make him feel whole. Two people standing in the dark, trapped in a loop of unhealed pain, using each other to replay their oldest memories. He turned around and walked back into the rain, and for the first time in months, his chest loosened and his breath came easy. We don't run after those who ignore us because they are priceless. We run because we haven't learned how to stand still and realize our own value. The hardest part isn't letting go of the person who ignored you. It's letting go of the belief that their attention was the only thing that could make you feel complete.